Hi everyone, I just wanted to give a quick status report on the casual sponsorship system on the main channel. So this is something I started a while ago just to solve a few problems. First of all, introducing a few more funds into the channel, because typically I used to do sponsorships, but I didn't really like the way they were constructed and the way that the contracts were always quite limiting in terms of creative freedom. It just didn't really feel that fun to interact with, so it added more stress to the equation. But also, given like the price expectations, it made it difficult for like people that wanted to pay for sponsorships to actually get involved. For example, like independent artists or people trying to advertise their skill sets to try and find jobs, for example, they might have some money in savings that they're willing to invest a little bit just to get their name out there. And because sponsorships for my level will cost like 3-4 digit numbers, it's not really viable for people to get involved. So again, like trying to solve multiple problems at once, the casual sponsor system was my solution to that, or a work in progress solution, where we have different price scaling. The price is subject to change all the time, guided by categories like a corporate rate, a business rate, and the independent rate, but the independent is the cheapest. So I have a queue now, and whenever someone pays for a casual sponsorship, I make a note of their requirements, what they want me to say. They understand that I will do it in my own way when it comes to the specifics of what's said and how it's structured in the video. And that's just it. Whenever I make a video, I look at the top of the queue and then I just add that sponsorship to the video. And it's been working pretty well. At the time of recording this, I have recorded the third one, which is being edited right now. That's for a friend of mine, Devanshu, who wants to advertise their services as a 3D generalist. But I wanted to make this because the first two casual sponsorships that were released highlight one of my main points of conversation about sponsorships, where some companies expect performance, which is something that you can't adequately predict on YouTube, given that the algorithm changes. You can do formulaic things, right, in response to what your audience has previously liked, that is somewhat reliable, but not entirely. Like, you don't have control over all the external variables. The first video I did with a casual sponsorship, a new way to model in Blender, featuring Spencer Magnuson talking about their add-ons, was the best performing video of the year. 117,000 views at the time of recording this. It'll be higher by the time this goes out. So here's the thing. The second video I did, a new kind of art challenge, was more kind of community-centric or personal to us, not really designed for the wider YouTube audience. That's only got 3.3 thousand views, which is quite poor performance, but that's because it serves a different purpose. These are massively different performance brackets, but they serve different purposes. Both of these people paid the same amount of money for a casual sponsorship, but it kind of highlights the point I'm making about you can't expect certain performance, or at least not without me sacrificing other elements of, well, my sanity, community, people's expectations, etc. The next video I put out will do better than the art challenge one because it's a community roundup and people tend to respond better to those. It's also a bit easy for me to clickbait a bit as well. So how much did these people pay for these sponsorships? Well, okay, let me give you a little bit of info. A sponsorship coming from like a corporate rate for my channel at this size would typically be anywhere between like 500 and 1,500 pounds per video. Now that might be higher for like other types of YouTubers. I think it depends on the kind of like relationship you have with them, negotiation, etc. So that's what I could charge, 500 to 1,500 per video. Higher if I had more negotiation skills, right? But the point of the casual sponsor system is to bring the much larger, yet lower cost community into the fold to increase demand for sponsor segments on the video. These two people paid £75 for the sponsorship. So there might be some like other creators watching this going, what the fuck, £75? Now the only reason they paid £75 was because I did this little thing where if people genuinely made it to the end of the video talking about the new casual sponsor system, right, which realistically only people that really care about me are going to watch that because it's not helpful to anyone else, but if they made it to the end, then I had this special thing where I would give them a one-time deal where their first sponsor segment would be stupidly cheap, and that's what I did. Now the reason why I'm saying this now is because that offer has now ended. It's still cheap. It's still very comparatively cheap compared to the corporate rate, but the £75 offer is now ended. But obviously I didn't publicize that because I didn't want anyone taking advantage of it that didn't really care. So here's what's happened. Spencer here paid £75 for a casual sponsorship and got something that is effectively worth thousands and thousands of pounds. That is an investment of awareness. Now, even if it doesn't translate to sales for Spencer, because that's a hard thing to predict as well, kind of depends on like the overlapping Venn diagrams of who watches and who has money and then who clicks through to certain things and who actually finds like use for the add-on being shared and stuff like that. There's like all of these like pyramids within pyramids within pyramids kind of funneling down. Doesn't matter. The awareness that's been generated is massive. Now, this is quite satisfying to me because obviously like one of the reasons that I changed to my affiliate policies was because I was getting like overly demanding messages from certain creators in the Blender community, product creators that kind of felt like I worked for them or something, like weird manipulative personalities hate them. So I just love the fact that without anyone anyone else knowing, really, in the Blender community. The people that really paid attention to me and actually cared about my ideas for publicity got a massive benefit for a relatively tiny investment. So strictly speaking, to those product creators that have been asking me to take part in their own little schemes for like, oh, if you do this for us and if you get enough views, we'll pay you more, like, well, that kind of shit. Like giving me all these like tests and boundaries. If you would just listen to me, paid attention, cared about what I had to say, it would have been you that would have gotten the 117,000 views for £75, which is ridiculous. But like I said, things go up and down, so the thing about this casual sponsor system is that people don't really have control over which videos their sponsors appear on, so I guess they'll just have to buy more if they're dissatisfied with the performance on one video. Because let's face it, every time you get a casual sponsorship, the viewership you're going to get on each video is not going to be the same. So again, maybe the next time you get one, it will be on another viralish video. But of course, like the main thing about this is I'm just not going to sacrifice on what I want to make for the sake of a contract. So when people buy into it, they're buying into that unpredictability and that chaos. So this is, I guess, an advertisement for the service. If you want me to talk about your product or you, because it doesn't just have to be products or services, it can be you as a creator. Like if you're a YouTuber as well that wants a larger following, you don't just have to like work for it by releasing videos. A lot of YouTubers feel weird about the idea of like buying advertisements for their videos, which feels weird, but it also kind of makes sense if it's your business, right? This is a way you can advertise your channel without actually buying regular advertisements like that and being annoying, and it makes a lot of sense. If you want to buy a few of my casual sponsor slots, you can do that, and then I'll talk about it on the channel. So that's just like if you had any disposable income, that's a supplementary feed to grow your channel over time without you needing to do anything. So that's a viable option there for you. But again, yeah, if you're making products, then that's available for you as well. If you go to codassault.online/services, you can fill out a form. So yeah, like I said, it's just been really interesting that the first two videos have been like a representation, an example of the system at its best, and I don't want to say worst, because again, Venn diagrams of overlapping audiences, low viewership doesn't necessarily translate into bad conversions. It just depends on what's being made and who it's being presented to. That's just one thing I want to highlight to the product creator community, is that someone paid £75 and got put on a video with a massive amount of viewership. So if you want to give it a try, then I am here. I would also say as well that at this current point in time, I've been pausing most of the additional extras that people can buy for the sponsorships, because I've been finding comfortable ways to integrate them into the videos. Before, I would allow people to buy like an extra banner or to have the main segment of the sponsorship placed at the beginning, but now I've found that kind of splitting it as like 1/3 and then 2/3 is the most comfortable thing. So I've been pausing the extras in favor of me just deciding for myself how to do it for any particular video, which I think is probably for the best. But anyway, yeah, just putting that out there. If you made it this far, put some kind of money related emoji in the comments so I can see if you did make it this far. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time.